Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Drawing from Experience podcast. This is episode number
69, dudes! Thank you.
Whoa, sorry. I had to put that in there. That if you guys don't know, that's a Bill and Ted, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure reference there. So I hope that is exciting for Bill and Ted fans who know that there's a third Bill and Ted movie coming out, which is, to me, very exciting. Anyway, let's talk about art, shall we? Today on the podcast, I have my very dear friend, Natalia Lvova, who's also a huge fan of the podcast, which is so cool. She is, I think, one of the only people who have listened to every episode of the podcast, which is totally appreciated. And she's an amazing artist. She does erotic art nowadays, but her art career has spanned from Russia to here. And I am excited that we got a chance to sit down and really talk about it. And just in general, she's just super confident and just this badass in the art world that's really shaking things up. And she recently went on this journey to do this erotic art, and she has an opening this Saturday night that is February 15th from 6 to 10 at Voss Gallery in San Francisco. And it is a ticketed event. If you get advance tickets, it's $10 in advance. It's $15 at the door. But you can be a part of the show. Check it out. I am, of course, going to be there. And yeah, before we talk to Natalia, I'm going to talk about some things I have coming up. Of course, there is there's actually a bunch of shows, and I keep forgetting to talk about this one, which is crazy because it's one of the biggest deal shows that I have coming up, and I think it's because it's been on my mind and I'm trying to work on this piece, and I'm really excited about it. It's just like kind of stressing me out a little bit because I need to get it done and it needs to be good. But Capro Gallery is in Santa Monica, and this will be the second time I'm showing there, and I'm in a show called Conjoined. It's the 10th anniversary show. The actual show itself is called The Reckoning, and there's also a featured artist show with Jose Manuel Schmil, who is amazing. My piece was hanging next to his. He unfortunately is no longer with us, but the fact that my piece at the last show, the Dark Art Society show I was in at Capro, was next to his, made me want to faint as soon as I walked in the door. Brad Gray, who is also part of the Drawing from Experience creative community, and also the Dark Art Society. His artwork is amazing. And then also Mark Waldman, who I am not familiar with his work, but it looks pretty awesome from what I can tell. But Conjoined 10, it actually opens on February 22nd, and it runs until March 14th. The opening reception is Saturday, February 22nd, from 6 to 10:30 p.m. So come on out, guys. If all of my travel plans fall into place, I will be there. I'm really hoping that it all works out. The Dark Art Emporium, first time I'm going to be showing there, there's a show called Communion. It opens on April 11th, and it goes until May 15th. I'm going to have work there. The 48 Pillars show, which is directly coming up very soon this month as well. That is at Art Gallery. It's curated by Michael Yoakum. The opening is February 29th, Leap Day, by the way. It goes from 7 to 9 p.m. And there's also a VIP reception if you guys want an invite to that, if you want to see the work first and foremost, if you're interested in the work, if you want to purchase anything, that is a good time to come out. If you want a ticket to that show and you want to come out and get a jump on the general audience, hit me up. I will hook you up and get you in early. And that goes from 6 to 7 p.m. on February 29th. There's also a closing reception and artist talk from 12 to 3 on March 28th. So come on out and support. Thank you guys. My Patreon shout out for this week goes out to, of course, the lovely, fantastic Natalia Lvova. It's patreon.com/Natalia Lvova. That's NataliaLvova. Currently she has 3 different tiers on her Patreon. $1 per month gets you access and behind the scenes videos and time lapses and stuff like that. $10 per month gets you a percentage off her shop, 10% off at her shop, and every half a year, 6 months, you'll get a free print and everything else in the previous tier, which are the behind the scenes stuff. And then finally, $100 per month. Every 6 months, you'll get a free original oil on canvas painting 16 by 16 inches. So every 6 months of being a subscriber, you get an original piece of artwork, or every 12 months, you'll get an original 30 by 30 inches. So you have the choice. You can wait. You can basically stock up and continue to fund a larger piece after the year, and that's a 30 by 30 piece, which is really cool. And you get all the stuff in the previous tiers. Her artwork is super cool. She actually has a patent. We talk about that on this episode. She has a patent on what kind of art she does. She calls it twiddle art. And yeah, go join. She is somebody who to me is like, she just is stopping at nothing, and she pretty much is somebody who's just going to continue pushing the envelope. So I'm really excited to see where her career goes. And yeah, my creative conquest shout outs for the week. 3 people here. Let's see. I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly. I'm probably going to do it incorrectly, but here we go. I'm going to try. Again, there's a whole bunch of different ones. I'd love to shout out more people. I cannot, so I picked 3. Zhao Faria da Cunha. I'm so sorry if that's wrong. Again, these shout outs are coming from the Drawing from Experience creative community. If you want to join the conversation and see what all these people are talking about and see the kind of art that they're putting out into the world, join us. We're on Facebook. You can request to be in there. I approve everyone. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to see the artwork that you want to put out in the world. So Zhao Faria da Cunha says, I finished this. And what she's actually talking about, what she's referring to, is a painting. And it looks like what I think is like an angel. And it's this perspective shot, kind of looking down, and then there's like a landscape behind it. She says, I finished this after so many frustrated nights, finally. Also, I finally rewrote my artist statement and updated my CV. And I think this is a good lesson for a lot of artists, because you have to remember to do that, and I'm also talking to myself because I need to update mine occasionally as well. Usually when I'm about to display a bio at like a show, at a convention or something like that, that's usually when I'll do that. But as far as your artist CV, like I have a running tally of all the art shows that I do, and that's on my website. So when you go to my About section, it's kind of like a good place for me to put it, because it's always there. It's accessible to any gallery that wants to see where I've shown, see that I have a track history of showing at galleries. So yeah, so next creative conquest of the week, Ariel Sakula says, finished a piece for a friend mourning the loss of one of her 2 black cats. She also does tarot, so her sign is in the stars. So the piece was these cats with stars in the background, and it's a really cute little piece. And then also, the part that stuck out to me about this was the fact that, I talk about artists like having this gift or this this thing that other people don't have. And this to me is a gift. Like the idea that you can help somebody through the loss of an animal, with your art is a really cool thing. So I don't know. I just think that we are given this opportunity as artists to be able to help people, and that's really that's what my art oftentimes is about, is helping people through loss and tragedy and things like that. And I talk a lot about that. So I thought it was really cool that Ariel was wanting to do that for a friend of hers. And I also I'm a huge cat person, and also two black cats. It's just that speaks to my my love for animals. So third creative conquest shout out goes to Paul Lewin, who is a friend of mine from San Francisco, who is an amazing artist. His artwork is awesome. I believe I spoke to him about coming onto the podcast, so that has to happen sometime within the next few months, because I just love to talk to him about his process and everything. He's just awesome. So learning how to sit with doubt and discomfort about life and art and continuing to create anyways. I thought this was, again, we talk about this and we think about this as artists, but we still go through it. It's like this idea that we have this self-doubt, and life is difficult sometimes. And regardless, we have to show up and we have to do the work even when we don't. Honestly, last night I was working on my painting. I'm like, this is the last thing I want to do right now, because I'm going through just the most difficult parts, these detail areas. And usually I'm really into detail, but this painting is just killing me right now. But I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm just I do not feel like painting right now. But as artists, we need to push through those difficult times, because eventually you'll come to the other side and you'll be like, oh man, okay, I really like what I'm doing. And then it's gonna feel like it was worth it. And so you just got to create anyways. So thank you, Paul, for sharing that and sharing that lesson with the community. Okay, our sponsors for this episode of the podcast. This specific episode is brought to you by Voss Gallery, San Francisco's hottest new gallery located in the Mission District, which, sorry, other districts, but the Mission is where it's at. I love the Mission. My studio is in the Mission, and I don't know, when I'm here more often than I am at home, but I feel like this is my hood, so I love this area of the city. And if you've never visited, come visit the Mission. Don't just go to the touristy areas of the city. The Mission is where it's at. Just saying. The gallery features a dynamic exhibition program of work by emerging and mid-career artists in both solo and thematically organized group shows, with an emphasis in new contemporary work with a technical edge. Exhibitions rotate every 3 to 4 weeks. Visit the gallery Wednesday through Saturday, 12 to 6, to see their latest show. For a limited time, Voss is exclusively offering Drawing from Experience listeners 10% off any original artwork or fine art print online. Visit vossgallery.art to view available work, and simply type in promo code DFE10 during checkout to redeem this offer. This promotion expires on April 1st, 2020. Visit the gallery in real life or online to add to your art collection today. I was just at Voss Gallery, and I'm going to be at Voss Gallery again this weekend. But I saw the show, the Tracy Piper show. I believe it was called All I Need. Tracy's such an awesome artist, and her and I had a conversation about her being on the podcast as well. And some of her models are people that I'm also using for my vampire series, which is so cool. So I just really think that Voss Gallery is one of those galleries in the city that's just getting awesome artists in. So please check out Voss Gallery's website, submit art to Voss Gallery maybe, and maybe you can get your art in there, and I'd love to see it. It would be so cool to see people in the Drawing from Experience creative community submitting art to some of these local galleries to me, and then I get to go to the galleries and see it. That would be the coolest thing ever. So this episode is also brought to you by Joshua Coffey. He is an artist living and working here in San Francisco. He's an acrylic painter, muralist, art coach, and a friend and sponsor of the podcast. Josh's work deals with a lighthearted and whimsical take on birds and mammals and the natural world. Josh would like to remind everyone that a rising tide lifts all boats. Support each other, and we all win. And as a thank you for listening, Josh is offering 20% off on your entire order at his website, undersong.com. Prints, calendars, magnets, and drawings, all featuring his work, are now discounted for Drawing from Experience listeners using the promo code DFE2020. That is DFE2020 at checkout. Visit undersong.com today. Again, I've said it before, Josh is such an awesome human being. Just go check out his work. At the very least, follow him on social media. He's doing good things, and he's one of these people who is in San Francisco as an artist, making it work. He's got a kid named Darwin, a wife named Teresa. As a family unit, they're amazing. Every time I see Darwin, he runs up and gives me a huge hug. I'm just like, I feel very blessed to know this family in general, and Josh is just like such a huge supporter of what other people do, and he really, really lives by that idea that if you help support each other, everyone wins. So thank you guys again, Voss Gallery and Joshua Coffey, for sponsoring the podcast, and you know that I appreciate that. Okay, I think that's all I have for now, guys. Please join me in welcoming the wonderful Natalia Lvova onto the podcast. I've been looking forward to this episode for a while, and Natalia is just an amazing artist. She has this opening on Saturday at Voss Gallery, and I just feel lucky that I get to have these kinds of conversations with people and really get to know, a lot of these people are friends of mine, and still as friends, you don't always get a chance to sit down and talk with them in great detail about their background. And you get little bits and pieces in conversation, but then when you actually get to sit down with microphones and hear about their experiences and why they do what they do, everything comes into you understand the context of their life, and then you understand why they are where they are now. So without further ado, this is my interview with the amazing, fantastic, wonderful, adorable Natalia Lvova.